I read that you're a nationally certified traumatologist. What is that?
Well, a traumatologist is really crisis intervention.
Okay.
Trauma, there's different terms for it: crisis intervention, trauma. Again, it's another form of training that I've received. A lot of this training really has come from a lot of the disasters. Of course, Florida has had its share of disasters, which I've responded to. I've responded to disasters all over the United States. California fires, 9/11. I was there after the World Trade Center was bombed. Missouri floods. Every place had its own particular disaster. So trauma is a part of disaster, and so basically it's another way of treating some of the symptoms of trauma.
Nancy, I know that you've been published in Women's Day, Women's Health. I counted like 50 magazines, and I actually lost count. I said, well, there's so many here, I'm just not going to worry about it. But and I know that you've been a public speaker, a psychologist, a researcher, an author, an artist, and a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know, what are you most proud of, Nancy, of all your accomplishments?
Wow. Well, being a mother's really been important, but really what has been important is blending them all together. One of the things that I did actually when I was working on my, well, actually I have a degree for almost every child except for my doctorate, and I even tried to talk my husband into having another child because I thought, well, if I'm going to get my doctorate, I need to have another child. So my children really were with me throughout my education. I married very young, and so my education was extremely important. But I also wanted to show my children and give them every opportunity to know that they could be anything they wanted to be. And so by continuing my education, my master's, I went back, I received my undergraduate degree in sociology, psychology, and I was a mother. I had my children during my education, received my master's, and then I said after my doctorate I thought I should have one more. But I wanted my children, I wanted my daughters, I have 3 daughters, and I wanted them to know that they could do anything they wanted to do in this lifetime. And I had to show them that, and that was part of, I think that's what I was most excited about, was just to make sure that they understood they could do anything if they wanted to.
I want to expound a little bit on your daughters.
Yeah.
You said you wanted them to be able to know they can do anything they want. Tell me a little more of what you seem very passionate about.
Well, as far as
that.
any position, any job, that they shouldn't be afraid of anything. They shouldn't fear anything as far as, anything they wanted to do. I didn't want them to feel that there would be any barriers. And I think that's the women of my generation, that's what we've always been about, is really breaking the barriers and making sure women, first of all, don't forget what other women did to put us where we are, but not forget that we're not finished yet. And I maybe tongue-in-cheek sometimes with my own daughters, because I don't think they realize, as much as I've tried to show them, that there really is more work to do. I think sometimes, when you are reared in a different time, when there really weren't any barriers for them per se, they've been very blessed with many resources. But there's still many women out there that still are not able to accomplish their goals for financial reasons, their health care, the salaries that they receive, and again, maybe not feeling the support or confidence and the self-esteem they need to go ahead and to make a transition.
Who is Nancy O'Reilly, the woman? Tell me about you, just as a woman, not the author and the artist and all the things that you have accomplished. Yeah. Who are you?
I had another psychologist. In fact, he was one of my professors. He said to me, he says, Nancy, he says, I know something about you that you don't know, that maybe you aren't aware of. He says, you are an introvert working very hard to be an extrovert. And and I guess in some ways, as I grow older, I find that to becoming truer and truer, is that I'm still trying to figure out who Nancy O'Reilly is. And I think that's the journey that we all take, especially as we're growing older, is that defining myself in my own, I guess at times I could be my own worst critic. And so part of it is really starting to make friends with Nancy O'Reilly and use that passion. every day I wake up, I want to make sure in my own life that there's something that I can do for something or someone else. But then the someone else has to be me more and more. And I think that's something women need to learn. And I'm trying to teach myself that each and every day, is that we need to do more for ourselves. And that basket that we come into is full of resources, so we have to make sure that that basket stays full. I'm down here in Florida and I'm rejuvenating myself, and it's a wonderful thing. People seem to know that about me, that they say, we know you're vegging out, we're not going to bother you. But it isn't that interesting that, you know, that people think that way.
I think time alone is probably the best teacher of all. I mean, you get to think about things and ask yourself questions and wait for the answers when you've got a place like this to spend alone.
I'm very blessed.
Quiet.
There's no doubt about it. And of course, those blessings are very, very important to me, that I share them. I believe that anything that we we've brought into this world, it is about relationships, but it's also sharing your gifts. So I'm going to take a respite, and I'll take my rejuvenation time, but go back and I'm involved in a philanthropic endeavor called Suit Yourself, and Women Helping Women, Female Leaders in Philanthropy. It's all about helping women make transition. So, you know, Nancy O'Reilly, yeah, she's a lot of things, but I don't know that her work will ever be finished. You know, I'll take my respite, but I just believe that, you know, I don't ever see myself. I'll be reinventing myself when I'm 90 years old. That's what I hope to be. What we could sit down and talk again, Jean, and then at 90 years old, you and I'll be talking, and I'll just be reinventing my new Nancy O'Reilly. So I suspect that that's part of it, is just continuing to find something new and challenging, but to keep reinventing and keep growing is really important to me. He's asking a lot of tough questions, man.